Hi there, welcome to another day of accountability. We shall be accounting for this thought that I've been having concerning movement and vulnerability, right? There's a lot of chats that I can have concerning movement, and movement being the primary driving force of evolution, or one of the primary driving forces of evolution. But that's besides the point for today. So, right, because I've been in this transition, and this has actually been the longest transition that I've been in, right, of change. Because clearly the learning curve is pretty steep, steeper than I had anticipated. But, I feel like I'm getting towards the end of this. I've noticed, especially engaging in a sense of discipline as much as I could, I've noticed that, there are points in time where I want to escape, points in time where I want to do else. I want to get up to no good. And I feel like that's the common problem. And I actually understand why people escape. People do the things that they do. We over excessively indulge, do a whole lot of nonsense. We're trying to feel something, trying to do something. And it makes sense. It really does make sense because, wow, hey, the truth is not so delightful, nor is change delightful. Hence, staying in the same place, doing the same thing makes sense. That's the comfort zone, Extending past your comfort zone will definitely put you in a vulnerable position, because you're in a state of building. You're in a state of building. You're not whole. So obviously, there will be holes in your armor, and then boom, like things do enter. You feel me? And I've understood that as of late, throughout this accountability series, going through a sense of anxiety, going through a sense of depression, and noticing, where does the sense of anxiety and this depression stem from? Okay, cool. When am I coping? What am I doing? Oh, what's happening here? And noticing that, hey, this is how we end up in certain situations. So yeah, I've noticed that, hey man, if I were to metaphorically speak about it, in fact, this is actually how I noticed it. It ain't even metaphorical, it's pretty literal. When I stand, right, I assume different stances, especially when I notice my emotional state of being not being in such a great space. In assuming stances, right, I've noticed that at times it's best for me to assume a narrower stance in order to ground myself. You see, so that my head being in the clouds does not compromise me. Because that's the usual case and scenario when it comes to anxiety. You're thinking too far ahead, you're thinking too far back when it comes to depression. Supposedly, that's how it works. And I can relate, But at the same time, with anxiety, when it comes to movement, you're moving a little too fast for me personally. I move a little too fast, Out of context, my heart is racing. It's fight or flight or freeze. And I'm fighting or flying, one of the two. You feel me? And then when it comes to anxiety, I've noticed that, I could scrunch up a bit. So the best thing that I could do is to just assume a wider stance, and flex in order to reverse engineer whatever's going on in my head so that my body can be like, okay, cool. This is what we're doing. This is where we're aiming to get at. Cool. We're going there. So, yeah. I guess these are my coping mechanisms of dealing with change and the vulnerabilities and understanding that, okay, cool. When we're changing direction, if we don't assume the right foot stance, you learn this in fighting, if we don't assume the right foot stance, then we will be compromised. For example, right, let's say you're standing like this. If you decide, right, that you're gonna go, you're trying to move to the right. This is my right, this is your left. We're trying to move to the right, né? And you're just gonna decide to put this foot here. You're at a narrower stance. Someone can easily kick you, and then you fall. But then if you decide, okay, cool, let me just widen my stance and then move it here and maintain this same distance, which I'll still stable at, but this one is more stable, but a little shorter. You see that, okay, there's more stability. So I guess mentally, I've just been trying to figure out how to, besides from a physical point of view, an emotional and mental point of view of dealing with this transition and assuming the right foot stance. Because I'm not going to lie, it's so easy to misstep. It is so easy to misstep when it comes to this. And I've noticed the manners within which I misstep, hence aiming for a sense of discipline and abstinence, even though, hey, your boy's been failing when it comes to abstinence. But that's a topic for another day. I noticed that, hey, man, assume the right foot stance and the right posture at all times. So physically, yes, I practice that. But then mentally, it's also and emotionally making sure that I don't frustrate myself beyond the point where I start to burn out. And then it's like, yeah, we're past our comfort zone. We're aiming to get past our comfort zone and our thresholds. But now we're actually just defeating the whole purpose and cause. So yeah, that's my chat in noticing that, hey man, things just really do get complicated out of your comfort zone. And yeah, as much as it's all good and dandy, but personally, okay, as a person who likes to think a little more than I'm supposedly supposed to, yeah, I noticed that, hey man, you gotta treat it like a science and be careful, and develop a sense of discipline and posture, stature, in order for things to really make sense, or else you could cripple yourself. Or not even know when you're spiraling downwards, because it's easy to spiral downwards when it comes to just thinking that you're out of your comfort zone, but you're not. And then you're just in the pits perpetually, which I've noticed that, hey, man, it's like me trying to run these stores as an e-commerce business again and again, through just Facebook boosting posts. And then it's like, yo, man, now we're in the pits perpetually. And that's the type of stuff that I look at. It's like, hey, you have to move forward and, yeah, get a little more vulnerable, but go beyond that. So, yeah, but hey, I guess that's all. I just wanted to share that. It might not make sense, but hey, man, at least finally got it out. Thank you.